Remainers are desperately calling for a second referendum as the clock ticks down to the proposed Brexit date of October 31. They are making a last-ditch attempt to break the long-running Brexit impasse, despite Britain voting 52% of 48% to leave the European Union in June 2016. Political sociologist Paula Sunridge had revealed to this website how recent figures showed 90% of voters would vote the same as they did more than 3 years ago. Related articles her claims have been backed by the latest Express.co.uk poll, suggesting readers are getting fed up with the Brexit crisis and want Britain out of the European Union now. The poll, which ran from 6:40 p.m. on September 28 until 3:10 p.m. on September 29, asked, would a second EU referendum change the result? A huge 32,964 readers took part, with nearly three-quarters, 72.2% or 25,107 readers, convinced a second EU referendum would not change the result. Just over a fifth, 21.5% to 7,101 readers, believe the result would be different, while just 2.3%, 756 readers, selected the "don't know" option. Brexit News, Express.co.uk believe the result would be the same in a second EU referendum. Image Getty, Brexit News, Boris Johnson wants to take Britain out of the EU on October 31. Image Getty, one reader said, "We need to leave now. The EU is an oligarch-run union, it is undemocratic, it is designed from the rich elite to control all of us, and we have been given a chance to stop, but our establishment has brought into it for over 40 years. They have hamstrung our exit." Another reader claimed a second referendum would be invalid because the result of the first vote has not been carried out yet. Read more. Rob, history won't forgive you for putting Corbyn in number 10. The Prime Minister wants to wave goodbye to the EU, with or without a deal. Image Getty, related articles they raged that if a second referendum was given the go-ahead, the British people should take the decision to the High Court because it would be a stitch-up, as Leave wouldn't be allowed to win. The reader said, a second EU referendum would simply not be valid, due to the fact that the EU referendum result is being ignored by the Remain losers and is not being carried out by Parliament. It would actually further divide Great Britain and cause civil unrest. A second referendum would be a stitch-up. Either it would not be just Leave or Remain, or there would be tinkering with the result. There is no way Leave would be allowed to win. Don't miss Brexit was the first time that people had won, says Aaron Banks. Opinion, Boris can ignore Brexit delay request, says its interview. Brexit to vote means nothing to those in Westminster, says Nick Ferrari. Comment, the Prime Minister is refusing to ask the EU for another extension. Image Getty, Brexit News, Boris Johnson arrives at the Conservative Party conference where Brexit will be a big focus. Image Getty, if they force a second referendum, we should take it to the High Court because they haven't delivered the first one yet. One reader actually believes the result would be the same as in 2016, with an even greater margin between Leave and Remain. They said, I think Leave would win something like 56% to 44%. A lot of Remain voters respect democracy and the referendum result. Another reader questioned whether, based on the Brexit crisis that has swept through the country since June 2016, whether the British public could even trust another referendum. Brexit News, Nigel Farage said he was confident Leave would win by an even larger margin. Image Getty, they commented, as a Leaver, I would not trust any future referendum on the subject of Brexit to be conducted in a fair and democratic way. We have learnt over the last 3 years, our MPs cannot be trusted. Joe Swinson, the newly elected leader of the Lib Dems, has openly stated that if there was a second referendum and Leave won, then she would ignore that outcome. So, what is the point? We settled this in 2016. We don't rerun general elections just because the losing side did not like the outcome, one reader added. The only people they will have to blame will be themselves. Remember, Britons never ever shall be slaves, especially to an unelected group of foreign bureaucrats or indeed unelected groups seizing control of our great country. Brexit news. Breakdown of the EU referendum results from 2016. Image. Express. Political sociologist Paula Sunridge had told Express.co.uk there hasn't been a huge change of opinion on Brexit as people are likely to vote the same way in another referendum. Ms. Surridge said, most people haven't changed their minds on Brexit. When we poll people it is over 90% on each side who just give the same response that they gave in 2016. Her comments came after Nigel Farage said he was confident Leave would win by an even larger margin if a second referendum was called. Brexit news. Nigel Farage said, people will come and join the Brexit party. Image. Getty. Speaking at his party's conference in London on Friday night, he said, if we did have to face a second referendum, and provided we were given a proper question with a genuine Leave on the ballot paper, I have absolutely no doubt we would vote to Leave by a bigger margin than we did back in 2016. To cheers, he added, but whatever happens, there will not be violent riots on our streets because we have got a well-run, sensible, moderate, democratic party called the Brexit Party. People won't riot, they'll come and join the Brexit Party and we'll do this democratically and peacefully. Let's block ads. Why?